Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to jump into episode 8 of Pluto. So, last episode, we had we had this attempt from May to go back to her friends and see her friends again after a long period of time where she hadn't seen them. For a variety of reasons, her old friends were, like exactly what you think they are, like rich, entitled, mean girls who, didn't know how to handle her when she went blind. And like there was a whole thing with her, them first meeting her in the hospital. And, they also talk bad about her behind her back. And it's very like ableist and rude and terrible. But she still likes Ploy, her ex-girlfriend, who's not really an ex-girlfriend because they decided to remove that aspect from May's, romantic history, which I didn't like. I didn't go into it in detail in the discussion last episode, but I'll talk a little bit about it right now. The reason I don't like it is because when we met May and it was explained that she'd kind of known who she was and she'd had romantic relationships before, it felt like she was a lesbian kind of living a full life. And it's sometimes, I know it's a trope in a lot of Asian dramas to have we fell in love when we were kids and we've only ever loved one person in our entire life, and that's why we're destined to be together, and that's fine. A little unrealistic, but a lot of times dramas are idealistic like that. I like this one because she had a romantic history outside. She had two romantic history. Like she had two lovers outside of the person that she's meant to be with at the end. And I like that. I like that she was living a full life as a lesbian before finding. And when I say full life, I don't mean like somebody who's only ever had one person, hasn't lived a full life. But you know what I mean, right? Like it wasn't like this is some new thing. It wasn't like I'm only lesbian for you kind of situation. Like she had other lovers, and that was fine. And I don't know, something about them taking that away by having her always actually be in love with Ayun and never actually being in love with Aum, and then also then taking away her other girlfriend and saying, oh, actually we weren't really dating, we were just pretending or whatever. Like that just feels like it lessened her story emotionally, and it made her a little bit less interesting to me. I feel bad saying that, but it kind of did. It kind of made not only her less interesting, but their romance less interesting. Because I think it would have been harder emotionally and more complex emotionally to have her be kind of searching for love, not finding it with these other women, and even her twin. Like the complicatedness of being in love with somebody, breaking up with them, or losing them in some manner, and then falling in love again, but it's with their sister. There's something gritty and complex and interesting emotionally about that, and they feel like the story is going to erase the complexities there. And I don't know, that's what made it spicy, that's what made it interesting, that's what made it like, damn, she really fell in love with both these sisters. But only one of them was worthy of her, only one of them accepted her into their lives. And now I'm feeling like we're going to completely retcon that whole relationship. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it took a turn for me in last episode. There were a couple other things I didn't like about last episode too. And I feel weird. Let me know if you guys understand what I mean. Does it feel like her character got like a little bit less interesting in the romantic aspect? Like all the other stuff, is good. Like, and I love the portrayal. Like the acting in this is great, especially May. I feel like she's very interesting. Like she's making a lot of interesting acting choices, etc. But something about removing and then going back to I've always actually only ever loved one person, and all these other relationships I had are not real. They just seem real. Like, I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't like it. I don't like it. So I hope that they don't erase the relationship that she had with at least. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll jump into this episode. I do actually have a little bit more time today, so I know I say that every time, but I'm hoping I can do 2 episodes today. All right, let's get into episode 8. All right.
มีคนส่งอีเมลมาที่บริษัทเราแล้วก็แนบอีเมลหัวหน้า HR แล้วก็ President มาด้วยอะเหมือนขู่นี่มันสมัยไหนแล้วอะยังเอาเรื่องพวกนี้มาขู่กันอยู่ได้
So this is
เขาไม่ได้ขู่อุ้มเขาขู่เมย์ขู่ว่ากำลังจับตาดูเราอยู่
So maybe they are dating, thankfully.
พ่อเมย์เองเขาต้องการอะไรจากเมย์อะ
Okay, so her dad is coming back around, her shitty dad that we met earlier in the previous flashback. Oh, I did have a comment that said, oh, I missed that she was being blackmailed. I definitely missed that it was blackmail. I did see that he was acting all threatening and like putting pressure on her to take a case that she didn't want. And I definitely saw that. But I also know that she, how do I explain this? Yes, she didn't want to take this case and she was doing it at, under duress. We get it. But she also, like, the way she approached it was very naturally shady. Like, I'm sorry, it was. And I don't believe that before this event of her dad blackmailing her, that she was somehow a good lawyer. That's not the vibe. At least that's not the vibe that this actress played it as. She played it as somebody who had lowered morals for a long time and probably did some shady shit as a lawyer. And then her father blackmailed her into doing something or intimidated her into doing something that she didn't want to do. And it wasn't about it being morally wrong. It was more about her, like, she wasn't uncomfortable because it was necessarily morally wrong. It felt like she was more just uncomfortable about being forced to do something she didn't want to do. Does that make sense? At least that's the vibe that the actress played it with. Now, they might erase that in this next scene and say, no, actually, she's always been a good girl lawyer and yada, yada, yada. But again, I feel like that reduces her character. I think it's more interesting to think that she actually was, a little bit of a shady lawyer. And being blinded forced her to adopt a different perspective and change her life around. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that being an interesting story. You don't need to make her always a good girl. Like, I don't know. It's, we'll see. So she was forced to take the case in which Ben was, almost premeditated, attempted murder, etc.
เขาเป็นลูกชายคนเดียวของเพื่อนฉันแกต้องทำให้เขารอดแล้วจ่ายให้มันน้อยที่สุด
ทางที่โจทย์พิการตลอดชีวิตเนี่ยนะ
แกจะไม่ท
ำเมย์ก็มีจรรยาบรรณของเมย์
Yeah, okay. So they're gonna erase the vibe that she had in the court.
ฉันเคยบอกแกแล้วใช่ไหมว่าฉันทำอะไรได้มากกว่านี้อีก
It makes her less interesting to me.
แต่อุ้มไม่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องนี้
It kind of makes her less interesting to me. I'm so sorry, but I was so fascinated by the idea that she used to be actually a kind of terrible person. And this transformative experience made her a better person. Not necessarily because she was blinded, but because she went through this trauma that forced her to think about a worldview outside of her own. That's more interesting. That's more interesting to me. Oh my God. Are they like erasing all of the edges to this character that I actually really enjoyed the hints of? Oh, I don't want that. This is the same thing as of them taking away the fact that she had previous lovers and making it like, no, actually she's only ever loved one woman and actually she's only ever been with one woman this entire time. It takes away the edges of her character that made her really fascinating and interesting and crunchy. Oh no! I don't want this! Here we go.
จะเกี่ยวหรือว่าไม่เกี่ยวเนี่ย
I mean, I'll accept it because that's the story that they're telling, but I just think it's less interesting. It's just deeply less interesting. It's fine.
เมย์นี่เมย์เป็นคนทำคดีแบทแมนขับรถไล่บี้เด็กแว้นจนเด็กแว้นพิการเหรอเมย์ทำแบบนั้นได้ยังไงอ่ะ
So she's putting on an act like she's not doing it to protect
ทำไมอุ้มถามแบบนี้นี่เป็นงานของเมย์นะก็อุ้มรู้จักเขาไงเมย์รู้ไหมแม่เขาฆ่าตัวตายเพื่อเอาเงินประกันมารักษาตัวเขานะ
She could get the insurance money even though she committed suicide? Doesn't that usually end up with you not getting the money? So this is what she fought with Al-Um with. So I am getting the feeling that she and Al-Um were together. They were together. At least that's the vibe here. And she did all of this. Obviously, she did all of this to protect her because the dad started threatening Al-Um. And so she's trying to do a thing like, yeah, I took it. I'm actually bad, yada, yada, yada. So that she doesn't have to reveal that the reason she took it is to try and protect her and that she's in danger, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm glad that they preserved that because I
แมวแค่อยากปกป้องอุ้มอ่ะ
Yeah, okay. She's telling her.
เหมือนที่อุ้มเคยปกป้องเมย์ไง
She doesn't know what you're talking about. So she only dated her because she thought she was Al-Um from school because Ayun had the uniform on. I get it. So Al-Um was genuinely dating her though. She was genuinely dating her and in love with her. And then she revealed that the reason she started dating her is because of this event in their past. And then Al-Um realizes that the person she's talking about is her sister. And so that's what makes them break up. And then she leaves and finds a new person and gets engaged to the other guy and ends up in the car accident. So that's what happened. Again, I don't know. That also kind of makes Al-Um less crunchy and interesting to me too. Because I kind of like the idea that she was actually just kind of a terrible person. She's just unfortunately kind of a terrible person who like, not terrible like irredeemable, but terrible like she, you know, like where you have like a 60-40 split of, you know, 60 not being that bad and 40 kind of being the fucking shits. And like you put that together and you got 100% of a person who's not the worst person in the world, but still has, you know, major fucking flaws like her selfishness and stuff like that. Like that could have been interesting and then we could have had a genuine arc. Well, we're on episode 8 of like 12, so we don't have time for an arc for Al-Um, but I don't know. I like kind of slightly morally gray, ambiguous women. So maybe I'm obviously looking for something that isn't present in this story. And I don't want to punish the story for not being what I wanted it to be. and just want to engage with it as it is. So I'm going to try my best to take my own personal bias out of it when I talk about it. But I just want to let you guys know that's how I'm feeling. Like, in the beginning of the series, I thought I had these two like really ambiguously moral women who were kind of a little bit pieces of shit, but they weren't irredeemable. And now I'm getting all of that sanded away. So I don't know how I feel about it, but it's
ป
fine.
กป้องเมย์
So she had legitimate reason for leaving her and finding somebody else.
เราเคยเจอกันตอนมัธยมที่ท้องฟ้าจำลองตอนนั้นอุ้มช่วยเมย์ไว้
Like, no, you've been dating my sister this whole time. Oof, that's tough though. That's tough. Because she was, I think, falling in love with May, and now she's realizing that she was only dating her for her sister.
ให้เมย์ชอบอุ้มคนนั้นเหรอ
Oof. Tough.
เราเข้าใจทุกอย่างเลย
I do like that. That's really emotionally complex and sad on Aum's part. Although we could have used more there to explain. Like, that felt... Like, she's clearly hurt
เรา
and
เข้าใจทุกอย่า
upset.
งเลย
And she's just, yeah, just gonna disappear without saying anything. I think we needed more there. Maybe we'll get more in a second. Maybe I'm being too hasty. Because if she was legitimately falling in love, to find out that it's somebody else who you're in love with that looks like her but isn't her, that's
มึงไม่ลงใช่ปะ
it's
ไม่ลง
sad.
ใช่ปะ
It's super sad.
ได้อ๋อไม่ลงใช่ไหม
Hey, girl, why didn't you call the police?
บอยมึงลงมาไม่ลงบอยลงมาไงอ๋อไม่ลงมาลงมาดิวะลงมา
That's crazy though. Why would you put the phone down? A lot of poor choices happening here, but you know, when you're panicking and afraid, I get it.
บอยมึงลงมาไง
So he's gonna run her down with the bike. Not him getting it with the license plate and everything. Like, is this dude a fucking idiot? Like, if you're gonna commit a crime, be better.
เพราะมึงแม่เพื่อนกูถึงฆ่าตัวตาย เพื่อนกูพิการตลอดชีวิตเพราะมึงคนเดียวเลยมานี่มา
Yeah, he beat her upside the head with a fucking plank, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, so he really did do that shit. Now that's messy. I do like that. I do like that they've preserved this messy ass shit. Because that's fucking crazy. Yeah, he deserves to be in jail for this. Because what? So she got dumped and blinded all in the same night. She's about to dump her.
ใช่
Ooh.
ฉันคืออบอุ้ม
Yeah, we can preserve at least her being an asshole. Thank you. Thank you for still making her a little bit of a bitch.
แต่ไม่ใช่คนที่เธอรักนะ
I mean, she has a right to say this, but you probably could have waited a couple of weeks.
เพราะคนที่เธอรัก คือไออุ่น พี่สาวฝาแฝดของอุ้มเอง
A mess. All right, I'm glad that's still at least messy. That was a really long opening. Cold open, I mean. It was like full on 10 minutes. Yeah, like I said, I'm really glad that they at least kept some of the messiness of that relationship. So they did actually date.
คืนเมามาก
But I wish that they had just had her be in love with both sisters. Like, and that be like a mess because of that.
เมย์รู้แล้ว
Me personally.
เมย์เป็นคนเช็ดตัวให้อุ้มเอง
นี่เมย์ทำให้เราทึ่งได้ทุกวันเลยนะเนี่ย เมย์วาดรูปได้ด้วยเหรอ เก่งจัง
อุ้มลองหลับตาสิ
That canvas would be significantly more wet because she was just painting. But it's fine.
texture ของสีเหรอ
ใช่ พอสัมผัส ก็จะรู้รูปร่าง สีที่ใช้มีกลิ่นด้วยนะ
What do they smell like?
กลิ่นไม่เหมือนกับที่คิดไว้
เป็นสีที่ใช้สำหรับคนตาบอดเนี่ยคนเขาพัฒนาให้กลิ่น เข้ากับสีที่เราจะใช้
So you know what you're coloring with
แล้วนี่เมย์วาดรูปอะไร
based on the smell? Nice.
ความรู้สึกบางอย่าง ที่เมย์พูดไม่ได้ อุ้มรู้สึกไหม
ทำไมเมย์ถึงรักเรา
แม่รักอุ้มเป็นรักแรกของเมย์นะ เมย์รักอุ้มแต่ครั้งแรกที่เจอ
เรากลับกรุงเทพกันเถอะ
It's both sisters thinking that she's in love with the other sister for me. Which would have made her actually being in love for a time without
ไอ้
very
กลัวว่าถ้า
interesting.
เขารู้ว่าไอคือไออุ่นไม่ใช่อุ่น
But it's fine, it's fine. I will accept the show as it is. Instead of how I want it
มา
to
ม่า
be.
โอเครสพะแนงเนื้อหอมเข้มข้น eat me more
That's it. It's still interesting, and I still like the characters. It's just like I think I would have liked the characters a little bit more if they were a little bit darker and a little
เรา
bit
ขอ
more
ของ
messed
ไปเก็บ
up.
ที่รถก่อนนะแม่
But this whole shit with the friend
Nathan,
actually blinding
No,
her
set
and
up a song
beating her
ให้
on the street,
Song
yeah,
set ไปไว้ที่
that's
บ้านนะ
real. That happened. That's really
ขอบคุณ
fucked
นะ
up.
ฉันฝากพี่อีกเรื่องหนึ่งสิ
ขนาดนี้ละไม่ต้องถามแล้ว อยากให้ทำอะไรก็บอกมา
พี่ไปสืบไปฉันหน่อย ว่าเมื่อคืนไออุ่นไปเจออะไร ไปคุยกับใครทำไมอยู่ๆไออุ่นเปลี่ยนไปอ่ะ
All right.
อุ้มเปิดกระจกให้เมย์หน่อยได้ไหม วันนี้อากาศดีนะ น่าเสียดายที่เมย์มองไม่เห็น ได้สิ
Be careful. You don't want to get your arm cut off because she's driving too close to the edge of the road or something. The way they just need to communicate, and they are not. Isn't she a lesbian, or is she bisexual, or pansexual?
เมย์ให้เอามาให้เหรอคะ
ทำไมถามอย่างนั้นน่ะ
ก็ถ้าเป็นพี่ต้น ก็คงไม่ตั้งใจเอามาให้พลอยแบบนี้หรอก
Or is that fake too? Like, since their relationship, they weren't really
Man,
together.
Ploy,
Is she
look,
actually
it
not a
wouldn't.
lesbian? Goodness.
เมื่อคืนพลอยได้คุยอะไรกับไออุ่นแฟนเมย์หรือเปล่าอ่ะ
ก็คุยหลายอย่างนะคะ แต่ก็ไม่ได้หลุดอะไรเรื่องความลับเมย์นะ มีอะไรหรือเปล่าคะ
เมื่อคืน พอกลับโรงแรม ไออุ่นก็เมาแอเลย เมย์บอกด้วยนะว่าเพอว่าไม่อยากเป็นอบอุ้มอ่ะ
อบอุ้มเหรอจริงด้วย
งั้นมีอะไรจริงๆกันเนาะ
พลอยก็แค่อยากให้เขามั่นใจว่าเขาคือรักแรกของเมย์อะแต่พลอยลืมไปว่าไออุ่นมาในฐานะอบอุ้ม ไม่ใช่ไออุ่น
Mm-hmm.
งั้นไออุ่นก็ คิดจริงๆว่าอบอุ้มคือรักแรกของเมย์
Yep, that'd do it.
เข้าใจแล้ว ขอบคุณนะพี่ต้น
Yeah, it's time to reveal the truth. We gotta stop with the lies, because it's just messing up both of you. Unnecessarily at this point. Now that we've revealed that you actually have only ever really loved Ayun, then it's time to come forward.
เมย์ไปดูพระอาทิตย์ตกกันเมย์ So
is she taking her here? Sorry, is Ayun taking her here to confess?
พระอาทิตย์กำลังจะลับตา
Like this really beautiful remote romantic setting?
ท้องฟ้าเป็นสีแดงระเรื่อยเมฆกระจัดกระจายกันเป็นกลุ่มก้อน
ทำไงดี ถ้าสารภาพว่าไอ
Oh,
คื
she's
อรั
still
กแรก
deciding. Got it.
ก็เท่ากับบอกว่าฉันรู้ทุกอย่างมาตลอด แต่ไอก็กำลังเข้าใจว่าฉันยึดติดกับรักแรก
เมย์
Just
เมย์เจอรักแรกที่ท้องฟ้าจำลอง
มีทางเดียว
yeah, you
ต้อง
gotta
ทำ
just
ให้
tell
ไอ
her.
จำเรื่องนั้นได้เอง
เมย์จะเล่าเรื่องรักแรกให้เราฟังทำไม
Okay, to make her realize, work through it herself.
เมย์แค่อยากเล่าให้อุ้มฟัง เมย์เรียนที่โคราช แล้วได้ไปแข่งต่อปัญหาวิทยาศาสตร์ที่ท้องฟ้าจำลอง ที่นั่น เมย์ได้เจอคนคนหนึ่ง
I will say,
ที่นี่ละ
pause. I will say that having her have this secret though does allow for them both to have entered the relationship under false pretenses and kind of be on equal ground when it comes to having to reveal the secrets that they've kept and make themselves vulnerable. So there is that. So I do recognize that aspect to this part of the storytelling, so that it's not just Ayun taking advantage of May the entire series. It's they both had things that they were hiding. They both had reasons to lie, and they both have to come to a point where they can trust each other and communicate truly and honestly. So I do like that aspect.
เสียดายเลยว่ะ
But you guys know I just like a mess. I like when there's a messy ass fucking relationship.
ขอโทษนะ
แกไม่โคตรไร้ประโยชน์เลยอ่ะ แกก็แค่โชคดีที่พ่อแกใหญ่ บ้านแกรวย แต่ตัวแกเองแม่งโคตรห่วยอ่ะ
Just assholes.
โอ้โหพี่ต้น
You're well rid of
มารับ
them.
เมย์หน่อยสิ เมย์ไม่อยากกลับกับโรงเรียนนะ
บ้านรวยมาก
Not
เหรอ
them about to
เอาตังค์
bully
มาแบ่งใช้หน่อย
her
ดิ
out of nowhere.
เอาโทรศัพท์เรามานะ
โอ๊ย 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 มึงค้นกระเป๋ามันดีมีอะไร
ของเราอย่าเอา
เปิดดูดิ เปิดดูดิ
Honestly, you should start throwing haymakers. But, you know, that's not her personality.
มึงอย่าดิ้นให้มันมากนักอีคุณหนู
Classic straight out of a manga kind of storyline.
เมย์ยังจำได้ เธอใส่ชุดนักเรียนแขนยาวผูกโบ
Yeah, think it through, girl.
พ่อเธอเมย์เราไม่อยากฟัง
แต่ว่าอุ้ม
พระอาทิตย์ตกละ ไม่มีอะไรให้ดูแล้วเมย์กลับกันเถอะ
ถ้ายังอยู่ต่อ ก็เหลือแต่ความมืดมิด
Symbolic.
เหมือนชีวิตของเมย์เลยนะ
This This is beautifully shot, by the way. The composition of this shot with the tree in the foreground and them in the back. This show is actually really gorgeous. I feel like I've said it a while ago in like the first couple episodes, but I want to reiterate that this show is really beautifully shot. I mean, they have this kind of, you know, darker tint to everything. I guess to emphasize the fact that it's a thriller. It does leach some of the color out of it, the color grading, but that's fine because it fits the somber mood of everything. But in terms of like actual like shots, the cinematography of things is really nice. I like the way the show looks. Like I'm very interested in the director and the cinematographer who put this together. Like even the way this shot is using shadow there. I go back. You know? This is a really lovely shot. It's like, you know, that matches obviously their mood, their darker, more, I don't want to say tormented, but more difficult mood that they have going here. It's nice. It's nice. Ooh, sorry, I had to cough my lungs out just now. All right, let's keep going. Oh yeah, she's about to. She saw her computer. She's about to confront her about taking over her sister's life.
ไอ้ แกปลอมตัวเป็นอุ้มไปทำอะไรกับหนูเมย์
ไอไม่มีวันแทนที่อุ้มได้เลยยาย
มันจะต้องไปแทนกันทำไมเล่าอุ้มก็คืออุ้มไอก็คือไอนะ
This is a beautiful orange, I don't know what this is, shirt, whatever, dress. It's a gorgeous orange. Well, are we really gonna learn, like, well, never mind.
ปล่อยอุ้มปล่อย
มาดิ
Is that? What is going
ปล่อย
on?
โอ๊ยบอกว่าเจ็บไงบอกว่าให้ปล่อย
Oh, is this when they met
นี่
again?
คุณจะทำอะไรอ่ะ ฉันมาที่นี่กับคุณก็เพราะว่าจะมาปฏิเสธคุณให้ชัดเจน ไม่ใช่ให้คุณมาทำแบบนี้อ่ะ
ไปเล่นตัวหน่อยเลยนะอุ้ม ดูก็รู้ว่าบ้านคุณลำบาก ผมทำให้คุณสบายทั้งชีวิตนะ
Not this guy. Being a
ฉันไม่ต้องการ
creep.
คุณไม่ต้องการเหรอ
ทำอะไรอ่ะช่วยด้วยไปช่วยด้วยช่วยด้วยช่วยด้วย
Broad daylight? God damn.
เห็นหน้าชัดๆ จะได้จับไม่ผิดตัว
คุณทำอะไร
คิดว่าฉันจะโง่เดินมาคนเดียวเหรอ กักขังน่วงเหนี่ยว ทำร้ายร่างกาย คดีอาญายอมความไม่ได้
So is he a pilot or something from the airline she, works for?
เป็นอะไรหรือเปล่าคะ
ไม่เป็นอะไรค่ะ
So she's meeting her again. She's gonna see her name
เมทาวีเป็นทนายค่ะ
ขอบคุณนะคะคุณ
and
เม
be
ธา
like,
วี
"Oh, I met her
Open.
again." 10 years later, etc., etc. And she's like, oh man, role reversal.
เมย์เมย์อุ้มได้สายการบินใหม่แล้วนะ แล้วเจ้านายคนใหม่ก็ใจดีมากด้วย
เก่งมาก เมย์ดีใจด้วยนะ
Yeah, so they were fully dating. Okay. Thanks for keeping that, because I would have hated if they had erased that. Like, she had known from the beginning that she wasn't out, that she wasn't Ayun, etc., etc. Like, I really like the messiness of her dating both sisters. So they're just friends now. This is a really cute dress, by the way, that Album is wearing.
สำนวนผิดตรงไหนหรอ
ไม่ผิด
I don't know if I love the color, but I like the design.
แล้วคำตอบล่ะ อุ้มรักเมย์นะ
Oh yeah, so they were fully dating, fully in love. But she thought she was a different Album than she actually was. Oof.
สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
นี่คุณแพง เป็นลูกค้าของเมย์ค่ะ นี่
อบอุ้มนะคะ เป็นแฟนของเมย์ค่ะ
Not her being super jealous. Oh, she's like, oh, this ain't gonna work.
ขอบคุณเมย์มากนะคะที่มาคุยงานด้วยตัวเอง เดี๋ยวไว้จะพิจารณาข้อเสนอของสำนักงานอีกที
It's
นะ
like,
คะ
no wonder. She's like, oop, this is not gonna happen.
อะไรของอุ้มอีกเนี่ย
เมื่อกี้อุ้มเห็นนะ ว่าเขามองเมย์ด้วยสายตาแบบไหน
Ooh, she's like
คุณ
crazy
แพง
jealous too.
เขาเป็นหุ้นส่วนโรงพยาบาลหลายเครือ เขาจะมาเป็นลูกค้าของเมย์
ไม่ใช่ เมย์สายตาแบบนั้นมันไม่ใช่อ่ะ
Don't you trust me?
สายตาแบบไหน
It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna cheat on you.
พี่เมย์เคยรักอุ้มจริงบ้างไหม
Messy. Messy. But she's very insecure, huh? Album.
อุ้มเป็นอะไรลูก เป็นอะไรฮะ
Oh, and then she's feeling the exact same way as Ayun. And then she finds out that May is actually in love with Ayun, thinking that her name was
รักหนู
Album.
เมย์อะไรนั่นมาก ยายยังแปลกใจอะตอนที่อุ้มมาบอกกับยายว่าจะแต่งงานกับคุณพ่อเขาก็บอกกับยายแค่ว่าหนูเมย์ไม่ได้รักเขา
แต่ตอนที่ไอไปหาเมย์ในชื่ออบอุ้มอะเมย์เขาดูรักอุ้มมากเลยนะยาย
อ้าวแต่อุ้มก็บอกให้ไอไปบอกเลิกกับหนูเมย์เขาไม่ใช่เหรอ
ใช่
So she told her the full truth. Okay.
งั้นทุกอย่างก็ขึ้นอยู่กับไอแล้วไหม
I wonder if that doesn't. So now that I know that Album knew that May's first love was Ayun, I wonder if she sent her sister to May, hoping that they would, like, as if saying, you know, I give you guys permission to be together. Not like permission, like she has any control over their lives. They are autonomous beings, but you know what I mean. Like that this was a, hey, I want them to work out, so I'm going to set up a reason for them to meet. And so she gives her sister this kind of excuse saying, I have a girlfriend and I want to break up with her. You break up with her for me, and in the hopes that they'll reconnect and hit it off. But I'm like, just be honest, open communication, y'all, and we could have avoided so much of this. It's fine.
แต่ไอกลัวว่าถ้าเขารู้ว่าไอคือไออุ่นไม่ใช่โอบอุ้มอะแล้วเขาก็จะเกลียดไอ
She won't.
แต่ไอจะเป็นโอบอุ้มตลอดชีวิตไม่ได้หรอกนะลูกนะ แล้ววันหนึ่งถ้าอุ้มมันฟื้นขึ้นมาแล้วบอกเลิกหนูเมย์ก็ต้องเสียใจอยู่ดีนั่นแหละ
ถ้าไอไม่อยากให้เมย์เสียใจใหญ่
หลานฉันเป็นคนดีทำอะไรเนี่ยยายอ่ะ
Truly, that is a gorgeous shade of
เรื่องที่ออกในสมอง
orange.
ของแกเนี่ย
I really like it.
Canon EOS R50 เพื่อนสนิทของเหล่าคอนเทนต์ครีเอเตอร์
Yeah, I think Al-Um intentionally sent Ayun towards May, hoping that they'll make each other happy.
เพราะคนที่เธอรักคือไออุ่น พี่สาวฝาแฝดของอุ้มเอง
ถ้าอุ้มจะทิ้งเมย์เพราะเมย์ตาบอดอุ้มก็ไม่จำเป็นต้องทำแบบนี้ก็ได้นะ
รักมากไม่ใช่หรอคนนั้นน่ะไม่อยากลองเจอสักครั้งในชีวิตหรอ
อุ้มต้องการอะไร
สู้สิ อย่าปล่อยให้ตัวเองอ่อนแอแบบนี้ กลับมาเป็นเมทาวีคนเดิม ถ้าทำได้ ฉันจะยอมเลิกกับเธอ
ถ้าอุ้มไม่ใช่คนนั้นอุ้มก็เลิกกับเมย์ไปเลยดิ
No.
ถึงแม้ว่าเราจะไม่ได้รักกันขนาดนั้นนะแต่ฉันก็ไม่ได้ใจร้ายพอจะยกคนแบบเธอให้พี่สาว
So she's trying to motivate her to get out of her funk, shall
แล้
we
วมันก็
say?
ง่ายไปสำหรับคนแบบเธอ
She's trying to motivate her to recover. And then once she feels like she's sufficiently recovered, she sends her sister to her on the day of her marriage.
ต้องชดใช้กรรมซะบ้าง
Oh yeah, also the fact that she defended the guy that killed her friend. Like, fair. So she's like, you need to be better, do better, etc. Well, I guess she could see a little bit more. I was like, she wasn't 100% blind, right? Because she could see some lights and stuff.
ฉันมองเห็น
But now she's slowly been able to make out shapes, so
เลือดที่ออกในสมองของ
she
แก
might
เนี่
be
ย
recovering.
ค่อยๆสลายตัวลงแล้ว เดี๋ยวการมองเห็นของแกเนี่ยก็จะค่อยๆดีขึ้น
นึกว่าจะต้องชดใช้กรรมไปตลอดชีวิตแล้วซะอีก
แค่ที่เป็นเกือบ2 ปีเนี่ยก็ถือว่านานผิดปกติแล้ว
Blindness isn't necessarily a
ฉันถึงได้
punishment.
เชื่อว่ามันคือการชดใช้กรรมไง
It's just a state of being. It's just a
ฉัน
living.
ว่า
But I understand why she feels guilty and she feels like this is like some kind of cosmic
Yang
punishment for everything that she's done wrong. I
ยัง
understand
มีเรื่องไอที่
her
ฉันยังมืด
character.
8 ด้านอยู่เลย
มันก็ไม่ถึงกับมืด8 ด้านหรอกนะ นี่แค่แกมาโรงพยาบาลเนี่ย ฉันก็เห็นเขามานั่งรอแล้ว
ไอมาเหรอ
คนแบบเนี้ยจะปล่อยไปไม่ได้นะเมย์
เมย์ไม่คิดว่าอุ้มจะมา
เดี๋ยวเมย์นั่งก่อนนะ
Alright, so she's gonna tell her.
วันก่อนเราขอโทษนะ
How's she gonna feel about the
How do you
fact that
mean?
she's
Don't you
already
think
known this entire time? Is she gonna be immediately overjoyed, or is she gonna be mad first?
เมย์เข้าใจ ก็มันจะเป็นครั้งแรกของเรานี่เนาะ
Of course.
ครั้งแรก
Again, like, would it kill the romance for her to have had previous lovers? Like, we don't need her to be a virgin. Like, we don't need that. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. You know? It's just like a little bit less every time. Okay, now, to be fair, it would be a little weird to have sex with a woman that your sister has also had sex with. Like, me personally, I have siblings, and I would never date one of the people my siblings has ever dated. It's just not me. Especially not knowingly. Hell no. But I mean, also me and my siblings all have different tastes and, you know, people that we like. So, like, we wouldn't fall for, I wouldn't fall for any of the people that my sisters have fallen for, is what I mean. But at the same time, love, you don't, sometimes you just fall in love with somebody and you just gotta live in those consequences. You gotta live with that. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them, like, removing all of her romantic and sexual history in order to prop up some kind of idealized first love, only you storyline that I feel is unnecessary. Like, they were like grown adults who could navigate the complexities of this kind of situation like grown adults, and I think that would have been more edifying and more interesting as a story. We don't need them, you know, we don't need her to be a virgin. We don't need her, this to be her first love. We don't need that.
ก็ที่เมย์เคยบอกไง ว่าเมย์ไม่เคยให้ใครมากเท่านี้มาก่อน กับอุ้มคนก่อนก็ไม่ใช่เท่านี้
แล้วกับรักแรกของเมย์ล่ะ
You're my first love.
เมย์อยากเห็นไอให้ชัดกว่านี้ ถ้าเห็นสายตาของไอแล้ว
Oh, she's gonna wait to
เมย์จะ
tell
บอก
her
เรื่องเลย
until her sight has
Why?
returned. But that could take years. Why are we doing this? Why? What is the reason? She's saying that. I want to see you more clearly. Sure. Like, why are we? That feels. That doesn't feel like a good reason or a good excuse. It just feels like the kind of thing you would make a character say that's like doesn't feel real just for the plot point of having her find out later in a bad way.
อุ้มถึงจะเข้าใจความรู้สึกของเมย์นะ
There's absolutely no real reason not to tell her right here, sitting here, the full truth. Other, yeah. Both of them, actually, technically. But, I mean, on Ayun's side, she doesn't know about everything in the same way as May. So her fear of being vulnerable and opening up makes more sense to
ก็
me
อยากให้
than
มาแล้ว
May's.
เจอของที่ชอบรู้ว่าชอบโจบยังไม่ได้ชอบฉันอีก
Like, May has a full understanding of the entire story. And so she has no reason to lie. Continue to lie here.
นี่คุณ ฉันไปเช็คดวงตัวเองมา ดวงฉันบอกว่าคู่แท้ของฉันเนี่ยวนเวียนอยู่ในชีวิตช่วงนี้
Oh, really?
Hello ค่ะ เข้ามาได้เลยค่ะ
Her next
ใคร
client?
มาเหรอ ฉันสั่งต้นไม้ไว้
Oh,
เดี๋ยวมานะ ไปด้วย
Oh, your ex.
อ้าวคุณ แป้ง
Messy.
บังเอิญจังเลยนะคะ
แต่ฉันดีใจนะ ก็คุณบอกเองนี่ว่า คนเราต้องซื่อสัตย์กับหัวใจตัวเอง ถ้าไม่ชอบอะไรยังไงบอกได้เลยนะ
ความจำดีนะเนี่ย
Mm.
หิวน้ำกันไหม เดี๋ยวฉันไปเอาน้ำมาให้นะ ขอบคุณนะ
Messy.
เห็นชัดเลยนะคะ ว่าพิมพ์ยังรู้สึกกับคุณอยู่
She'll work through him. Don't
เห็น
worry.
พิมเป็นคนนิ่งๆแบบเนี้ย จริงๆแล้วพิมเป็นคนขี้อ้อนมากเลยนะ แล้วก็ชอบกินโจ๊กมากด้วย โดยเฉพาะโจ๊กที่ใส่ขิงเยอะๆ กินเป็นคนแก่เลย ว่าปะ
คุณจะบอกอะไรฉันเหรอคะ บอกว่าคุณยังรู้สึกกับพิมพ์อยู่
Mm.
ฉันก็แค่มาทีหลัง
No,
เหมือนในอุ้มสินะ
that's not it.
เรื่องอุ้มก็สงสัยนะ แต่ขอเคลียร์ก่อน ที่ฉันพูดเนี่ย เพราะว่าฉันไม่รู้สึกอะไรกับพิมพ์แล้ว พิมพ์เป็นคนดี ฉันเองก็ดีใจที่พิมพ์มีคุณ ก็อย่างที่คุณบอกกันแหละ ความรักมันต้องคู่กับความรักกันเนาะ
She's feeling weird though. This is the mess that I want. But they are, you know, like I said, they are friends, so it's not gonna be like, you know, they're gonna be, you know, throwing each other around.
อุ้มลุกขึ้นไปดูอัลบั้ม
ฉันรอเธออยู่นะ
แม่งโลกกลมชิบหาย ประเทศเราแม่งจะมีคนอยู่แค่นี้เองเหรอวะ
Truly.
แฟนมึง ไปเจอกับไอ้แจน เพราะว่าทำคดีไอ้อุ้ม
แฟนเก่า
นั่นแหละ
Mm.
แล้วมันบังเอิญไปปะ มึง ไปชอบไอ้แจน แต่ไอ้แจน ไปชอบแฟนเก่ามึง
กูแม่งอกหักซ้ำซ้อน
Right? So she was about to fall in love with Jan. Is that what I'm getting out of this? I feel like we didn't see that on screen. Did I miss that? Did I miss that on screen? That she was going to start falling in love with Jan? Like, obviously she was in love with sorry, my eyelash is like in my eye. Something. But she was in love with She held a torch for her for years, even though she was dating other women. And then obviously she's, you know, values her friendship more, and so she's folded those feelings and let go of them. So then she started to move on and was thinking about falling in love with Jan, or was thinking about approaching Jan. But we didn't, I feel like, did I miss a scene? I feel like we didn't see that on screen. I feel like that happened off screen. And they're referencing something that happened off screen. Like, we definitely saw Jan and the cop getting together. We definitely saw all of that. So that's plain to me. Yeah, interesting.
มึงก็ move on ได้ ไม่ต้องมาจมปากกับกูนี่ไง
เฮ้ยแล้วมึงอ่ะ
Yeah, she has no luck in love, I guess.
เขาหลงรักมึงหัวปักหัวปั๊มแล้วมั้ง มึงบอกความจริงเข้าไปแล้ว
กูว่าเขาไม่ได้รักกู เขารักไอ้อุ้ม เพราะว่าไอ้อุ้มเป็นรักแรกของเขา แล้วกูอะจะไปสู้คนที่อยู่ในใจนางขนาดนั้นได้เหรอวะ
แต่แจนอ่ะเคยบอกกูนะเว้ยว่าไอ้อุ้มอ่ะไม่ได้รักพอ และไอ้อุ้มอ่ะก็มาทีหลัง แล้วถ้าอุ้มแม่งมาทีหลังอ่ะใครเป็นรักแรกของเขาวะ มึงบอกวะ
กู
ก็ตอนนั้นมึงชอบกวนตีนเอาเสื้ออุ้มมาใส่ประจำเลยอ่ะ
มึงจะบ้าอะไรมันจะบังเอิญขนาดนั้นวะ
No, they are definitely not. We literally just discussed how small the population in Thailand is, and how not like it's literally small, but like we just talked about how coincidental it is that all of you guys are entangled in each other's lives. Like, yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because we literally just had a series of events that proved how small the world really is. You know, just saying. Especially when you take that and combine it with the story that she told.
มึงฉลาดมากปณิตา โอ้โห
But I guess that was just another Tuesday for her. She did not remember stopping some girl from being bullied.
กูเรียกรถไป
Maybe.
ไม่เหม็นนี่หว่าเฮ้ยบ้านมึงหมุนได้ด้วย
You drunk?
จะมีการพิจารณาคดีเรื่องเบญจพลอีกรอบ เรื่องมาเกือบ2 ปีแล้วเนี่ยนะ
ฉันส่งเพื่อนทนายไปช่วยเบนเอง
And it's going for
เบ
an
นเขาก็เลย
appeal.
ฟ้องแพ่งเรื่องค่าชดเชย เพราะที่เขาได้รับไป มันไม่ยุติธรรมเลยสักนิด
นี่แกจะทำอะไรของแกเมย์
ฉันอยากแก้ตัว
แต่แกเป็นทนายของอีกฝั่งนะทำแบบนี้ไม่ตลกเหรอ
ฉันทำหน้าที่ทนายเต็มที่ แต่ที่ฉันจะช่วยให้เขาสู้ มันก็เป็นหน้าที่ทางมนุษยธรรมของฉัน
แต่ความซวยมันจะไปตกของที่แกปะ
Is she gonna
ที่ต้องไป
walk?
เผชิญหน้ากับไอ้เลวแบทแมนนั่นน่ะ
ฉันไม่จะเผชิญหน้ากับมัน
Is she gonna walk in and hear this? That
ฉันจะเผ
she's
ชิญ
the
หน้ากับ
one
พ่อ
who defended the person who
2
tried to
ปีที่
kill
ผ่า
her
นมา
friend?
ฉันจะไม่ยอมให้พ่อเป็นฝ่ายไล่ต้อน
Sorry, there's a lot of
ฉัน
pronouns in there, but you know what I mean.
พี่ไปส่งฉันหน่อย ขับรถฉันไปจอดรถไว้ที่นี่แหละ
รถฉันเข้าศูนย์อยู่อะเดี๋ยวเอารถแกไปแล้วกัน
Ready, right?
เบนไปขอไล่กับหมอต้นแล้วเหรอคะ
ใช่ค่ะ นิดเพิ่งไปส่งมาเมื่อกี้นี้เองค่ะ เห็นว่ามีเรื่องคดีอะไรสักอย่าง
งั้นฉันกลับ ขออยู่ต่อดีกว่า พอดีมาหัวนิดหน่อยไม่อยากกลับบ้าน
All right, what's she
นี่
gonna
อุ้ม
do?
เมามาก
Snoop?
เลยเหรอ
Oh, okay.
เราไม่ได้เมาขนาดนั้นซะหน่อยเมย์โอเวอร์นะ
ถ้าไม่เมามาก ก็คงบอกก่อนแล้ว นี่อยู่ๆก็โผล่มา
เมย์เราขอโทษนะ ที่วันนั้นเราไม่ได้ฟังเรื่องรักแรกของเมย์อะเมย์เล่าให้ฟังอีกทีได้เปล่า
ถ้างั้น อุ้มลุกขึ้นไปดูอัลบั้ม มีรูปเมย์ตอนม .4
Not the conveniently placed album right on the
เมย์
bedside
เจอรักแร
stand.
กของเมย์ที่ท้องฟ้าจำลอง
Alright, it's gonna finally click.
อย่าดิ้นให้มันมากนักอีคุณหนู
Yeah, finally clicked.
ไอ้เม้นเมื่อไหร่จะเลิกถ่ายตามคนอื่นวะ
อย่ามาเสือกเรื่องของกู
Yeah, start throwing haymakers.
เอาไง มาดิ ลุกมาดิ
ฝากไว้ก่อนนะมึง
นี่เอเวนทำไมไม่สู้อ่ะ
จะให้สู้ยังไงอ่ะ
คนเราก็ต้องมีวิธีสู้ของตัวเองดิวะไม่งั้นจะใช้ชีวิตยังไงอะจะยอมโดนรังแกไปตลอดเหรอ
Yeah,
อุ้มจำได้แล้วใช่ไหม
connect the dots.
อ๋อ
ดีใจจัง แล้ว เห็นแก้วที่แม่บ้านเอาไปให้ไหม
It's the planetarium.
แก้วที่เมย์ชอบใช้
เมย์ซื้อไว้ตอนนั้น มันเป็นตัวแทนของอุ้ม ทีนี้ ก็ไม่มีเหตุผลจะปฏิเสธเมย์แล้วนะ เวลาเมย์จะกอด
อือฮึ
งั้นแค่นี้นะคะ กลับบ้านแล้วเจอกันค่ะ
นี่กูไปเป็นรักแรกของเมย์แต่เมื่อไหร่วะเนี่ย จะกลับมา อยากกอดแม่ตอนนี้เลยทำไงดีอ่ะ
บอกเขาตรงๆไม่ได้เหลือให้แม่บ้านเอาอัลบั้มรูปมาให้เขาดูเอง ให้เขาจำได้เอง แกนี่มัน
Yeah, she's a bit manipulative.
ก็ถ้าไอยอมบอกเรื่องที่ไอปลอมตัว
It's fine. She's a lawyer.
ฉันก็จะ
That makes
กลับ
sense.
ไปฟังแต่ถ้าไอไม่ยอมบอก อย่างน้อยเขาก็ไม่ปฏิเสธฉัน ขอแค่เขาเป็นของฉัน ไม่ว่าจะเรื่องเบน แม่เบน โกศลยังไงเขาก็จะยอมผ่านมันไป
Manipulative, like I just
พระ
said.
เจ้าเข้าข้างแกแปลกๆหรือเปล่า
That was such a manipulative sentence. Holy shit! Go back. Go back. I want her to be all mine so that when it comes to the near death of her friend, all I want is for her to be mine.
ไม่ว่าจะเรื่องเบน
Then, when it comes to Ben, his mother,
โกศล
and Kosal,
ยังไงเขาก็จะยอมผ่านมัน
she'll
ไป
overlook them all for me. That's so
พระเจ้าเข้าข้างแก
manipulative.
แปลกๆหรือเปล่า
Kind of love that. Again, I just want her to be a
พระ
little
เจ้าส่ง
edgy.
สัญญาณมาตั้งแต่ยอมให้ฉันกลับมามองเห็น
So they're recovering it for me. It's not as edgy as I wanted to be, but
แล้ว
it's close.
แกจะบอกไอ้ผลเรื่องที่ตาแกเริ่มกลับมามองเห็นแล้วเมื่อไหร่อะ
เมื่อฉันได้มองตาไอ ด้วยตาของฉันเอง ได้เห็นว่าเขารักฉันอย่างชัดเจน
She said, I want you to overlook the fact that I defended the man that tried to murder your friend and then cheated him out of compensation money. I mean, I'm trying to get him some money now, but God. And then his mom killed herself. Oof. And then your friend almost murdered your girlfriend because she could have died. A blunt force hit to the back of her head and then slammed into the asphalt. She could have fucking died. Like, low-key, he should be going to jail for attempted murder too. Both him and the dude that she was representing. They both need to be in jail for attempted murder. Alright, that was episode 8. I like that episode better than the last episode. For sure, 100%. We also were moving the plot forward more in this one, and there were a lot of reveals to us, the audience, especially more insight into the relationship between May and Ao-un, the original Ao-un, and why they both made the choices that they made. I was very afraid, and you guys watched it throughout, I was very afraid that they were going to completely erase her romantic history. They kind of did. They kind of took some stuff away from me. I feel bad saying it like that, but that's kind of how I feel. They took some stuff away from us, and then they left some stuff messy like I wanted it to be. I don't know if it's a net positive or net negative or, you know, straight even, but either way, there's some stuff that I like about it, and then there's some stuff that just feels, you know, like I do still find it unnecessary to remove most of May's sanitized. That's the word I'm looking for. Feels like they sanitized May's romantic history, and it made her character a little bit less interesting. Now, the whole manipulative line there at the end made her crunchy again. It's like they're giving me some stuff that makes her interesting, and then they're taking away some stuff that just like makes her feel a little bland. I don't know how I feel about it, but you know, the story is what it is, so I have to accept it as it is. I do like that Ao-un was Ao-un was truly in love with May. Like, she was falling in love with this woman. And then she found out that she is also experiencing her version of imposter syndrome. And that her and Ao-un are actually very similar in the way that they are experiencing this phenomenon of being twins. And not just being twins, but being twins and being antagonistic toward each other in a lot of ways, and feeling inferior towards each other in a lot of ways. And so they bite at each other, and they unfortunately tear each other down a little bit, and they resent each other. But in fact, they are actually very similar, and they are feeling similar feelings about their situation. And Ao-un also feels like she's somebody who can't be loved, who nobody ever loves. Just like Ao-un felt that way about the grandmother, about May. They both are kind of the same. So I liked getting a lot more insight into Ao-un. Not Ao-un. I keep switching their names because we keep calling her I liked getting more insight into Ao-un's feelings and her experience, and have her feel more like a fleshed out character rather than, you know, a MacGuffin. You know, sexy lamp / MacGuffin, where you could kind of, you know, she's just there to be in a coma and be motivation for everybody else around her. This episode, I really felt like she got time to shine and be a character in the story. So I'm hoping that's foreshadowing that she's going to wake up soon and actually enter into the narrative in a more concrete way. Yeah. So, how do we feel about May regaining her sight? I don't think I like it. I think I would have preferred if she was just blind for the rest of her life, sure, but the rest of the series. Like, we didn't have to like have her find love again and then get her sight back. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility to lose your sight and then recover it. I kind of hope that she can't recover 100% or something, that she's still legally blind. Maybe she recovers some of her, depth perception or something like that, or light perception. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a doctor, but I kind of want her to still be disabled. Like, I don't want them to erase her disability. Does that make sense? I don't like that, and that's the part of her recovering her sight that I kind of. I wonder what the reason is for writing her recovering her sight. Is it going to be part of her bringing back up the case from 2 years ago and going for an appeal or going for another lawsuit for compensation? Is it going to help her put away Kosol, who absolutely ran up on her and beat her in the head with a plank? Like, whoa, bro. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be in jail because that was crazy. He didn't even go after the dude that actually did that shit to Ben. He went after his lawyer. Like, that's attempted murder. He belongs in jail. That's crazy. Crazy. Especially because it seems like he knew that she was Ayun and Abum's girlfriend. Like, So I don't know how that's going to play out. Hopefully with him in jail. We still haven't met the elusive Ben. I'm hoping we'll see him soon because obviously we have these two stories that center around these people who are living with disability. And we've not seen Ben, the other person who is living with disability in the narrative. Especially because they're drawing connections between May and Ben and their life experience. And there's an implication that May feels like her blindness is a punishment because of what she did to Ben by getting Ben's attacker off of the charges. That doesn't mean it actually is a punishment, but it makes sense for her character to feel that way because her blindness is wrapped up in her attack. So there's trauma from that, and that attack is wrapped up in her feelings of severe guilt for doing something that she would consider to be immoral. So because you have all of these entangled emotions there, it makes sense for her to associate guilt with her blindness and feeling like it's a punishment or it's what she deserves or something like that, like in a negative way. Even as she's trying so hard to advocate for people with disabilities and causes that are for disabled people, like, she still has that nagging feeling that this is what I deserve because of what I did, because of me, my part in ruining this disabled person's life. That tracks emotionally for me, so I understand it. But again, I don't want them to get rid of her disability. I want her to be disabled this entire series. Like the representation of having this queer storyline with this female lead, one of the female leads is disabled throughout. It's more important, in my opinion. It's more important. So, but I guess we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. All right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Going over to Patreon if you want early access to this show as well as other shows. Uncut access to shows that I have to cut down for YouTube. I am working my way through editing Wheel of Time, the second season of Wheel of Time for YouTube. The third season has started and I will be filming episodes for that today, just FYI. So if you're interested in that, then jump on over there with me. And then I have to, I just started Love Between Fairy and Devil. So if you like C-dramas, I just released the first 2 episodes of Love Between Fairy and Devil today as I'm filming this. And I'll be continuing with that series 2 episodes a week, unlike Till the End of the Moon, which I released 1 episode a week, and it took me forever to get through that. So I'm going to go for 2 episodes a week for Love Between Fairy and Devil. And then after that, I'll replace it with another C-drama. I don't know which one. Maybe I'll have a poll for you guys so you can, choose which one I do after Love Between Fairy and Devil. Yeah, that's what I got going on with my channel right now. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Whatever, all this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.